Hi, welcome to I Teach 3D. This is Brad, and today we're going to take a look at making a bridge in 3ds Max. It's got a curve to it, and then we're going to bring it into the UDK, and there's going to be a problem, is that we can't make a really good collision model for it, so we're going to make the collision model actually in 3ds Max. So let's go ahead and get started. Here's the bridge that I'm going to make. And as you can see, I've already made it. I've attached all the pieces together. It's just one piece. So you can see when I click it, one piece, it's called bridge_001. Now also what I've done is I've taken it and I've made it. Let's get into orthographic viewport here to the side. I've also made it just so that if you see there the 000 line, the z=0 line right here, I made it so it's just a little lip right there, and I may lower it later, but let's go in and test it and see how it looks. So what we'll do, and I'm going to get rid of the grid by typing G. There we go. And so I've already exported it, and let's go ahead and bring it into UDK. So let's open up UDK. There it is. And now I'm going to import it. So there's a quick, easy way actually to import this. If I simply go into 3ds Max here, or I'm sorry, if I go into my I Teach 3D folder, then I've got a bridge 001 FBX. I can really just import that in, and let's see what that looks like. So there's my import. Now what I'd like to do is, I didn't have any texture for it. This is not a texture materials video. This is just about showing how to make a collision model. So I'm just simply going to bring it in as a static mesh. We'll say OK. And oops, I forgot to fully load, so I'm going to say yes, I would like to fully load it. And the reason I get this message is because I am using 3ds Max 2014, and apparently UDK is just giving me a warning about that, but it's okay. I'm going to disable the warning so I don't get it anymore. We'll say OK. And it imports it. Should show up here in my BJS terrain package. And there's my model. It says no collision model on it. What that means is that if I bring it in, I'm just going to fall through. Now I could create a collision model. Let's double click the static mesh, and it brings up my static mesh editor. And once the static mesh editor, where'd it go, comes up, let's see. Is it in here? That's kind of strange. Double click it, and oh, it's down here. I'm sorry, it's off screen. There it is. So I'm having to record on a smaller window than I normally work on. So let's see if we can pull this over. There it is. Okay, so here's my static mesh that's in the static mesh editor. I'm right clicking in order to orbit around or arc rotate around here in the static mesh editor. That looks really good. It's got no collision model on it currently, as we know. So in order to see the collision, I'm going to click right here where it says show collision. You can see there's nothing on it. Left clicking will zoom in and out a bit. What I'd like to do is see if I could just make a simplified collision model. Now if I do that, let's click it and let's see what it does. It just makes a box, which simply is not good. I really want the collision model to show up just on, if we look this way, I want it to show up just on where you're going to walk, and I'd also like a collision model here where the railings are. So we'll make one there. Now also, if that's not good, so let's try something else. Let's try making an auto-convex collision. And I haven't really played around with these to see if there's a perfect one here, but I'm just going to use the defaults, apply. And that's actually not too bad, but as you can see, it makes a V shape here where we're going to be walking. That's just not really going to do either. So I'm going to close this, and I don't want any collision on this. We're going to make our own collision model. So let's just remove the collision. Yes, I'm sure. And now we're back to no collision here. So let's go back into 3ds Max and make a collision model for this thing. And I'd like to make it a low poly collision model. If you look right here, it tells us there's 852 triangles in this. I made it as low as possible for this, but let's go back into 3ds Max and let's see if we can make it lower than that. In fact, let's do this. Let's bring up our utilities. I'm going to bring in my polygon counter so that we can see. We'll go into more, and then these are alphabetical, so polygon counter, say OK. Let's keep that up here so I can actually see how many polys or triangles that we're actually going to be using, and make sure it says count triangles. Alright, so this is where I'm starting. Go into my top viewport. I always like to work on a I'm going to pull this down here. I always like to work in a top orthogonal viewport, and I actually don't like using realistic for what we're doing here, so I'm just going to choose shaded mode, and I'll press F4, which brings up my wireframe unshaded. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and make just a quick low poly collision model for this. And if I had saved some of my creation parameters before making this bridge, then I could probably use that, but I want to show you how we're going to do it. So I'm just going to click and drag right there and move up just a little bit. So as you can see, my length, width, and height are over here. And my width, I'm going to use 512. My length is going to be 128. I'm going to try and get it as exact to what the original creation parameters were as possible. And then the height is going to be 16. So there we go. And I'll pull this down just a little bit, right-clicking to get to there. And again, I'm going to pull that and kind of match it up to right where you see right there. And I think the height actually was 8 instead of 16. So let's go back and change that just a bit. There we go. So I can move this up now, and I'm just going to eyeball it right about there. That looks really good for me. Now, as you can see, the collision model that I'm starting to make here, the bridge has a curve, and this is straight across. It's still not going to work right. So let's work on this and fix it a bit. From the front view over here, I'm going to add some segments. I'm not going to add as many segments as is on here, although I could. But I'm not going to. And also, the other thing is that I need to add a couple segments because I would like to raise this up just a little bit as well. So first of all, let's add a couple segments here. I'll go this way so you can see it a little bit better. So I'm going to add two length segments there, as you can see, because I'm going to scale those vertices over. I'll do that in just a moment. And then also, we'd like to add some width segments. So it's however many width segments that you'd really like to make it. And let's see, I've currently got 92, and we'll have a few more on here because we're going to do some extrusions. Let's try, how about 7 possibly? Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's use 7 for that. And we'll just, that actually is going to work really good. Okay, so I'll come back here to my left viewport. I'm going to go into my modifier list. Let's make this, you can't see it, but I'm going to make an edit poly. I'm going to take vertex mode. I'm going to click and drag over those, just the 2 center vertices there. Let's use our scale tool, and I'm going to scale these apart. Scaling vertices can actually move them closer together or further apart. I'm going to do it just until the railing. So probably right about there. Looks really good. And then you can see that I've moved those apart. So what I did was I just scaled the vertices on the y-axis out to where I wanted them. That looks pretty good for now. So I'm good with that. Let's also do one more thing here. Let's raise up this. Let's raise these up first of all. So I'm going to go into polygon mode, and what I'd really like to do is select the polygons that I just created all right there. So let's go back to left viewport. Whoops. And if I click and drag over here and then hold my control key, click and drag over here, look what I selected, all of those. If I now hold my Alt key, which subtracts from the selection, and click and drag over here, it selects everything, it deselects everything in the bottom and the sides, and then also I'll do the same thing for the center, so that the only thing I have selected now are just these 2 sides right there. So I use Control to add to selection, I use Alt to subtract from selection in 3ds Max. Now I'm going to use my Extrude tool. So I'll use Extrude Settings, and before I do this, well, that's fine. I'll just eyeball it. We'll see how it looks, because I'm going to eyeball it all the way up to there. So we'll do an Extrude, and wait for the settings to come up. There it is. And let's bring it over to where you can see it. And all I'm really going to do here is just click on the upper arrow, and I'm going to just extrude up until right about there. What I did was I extruded until it met the high part of the handrail right there. I'm good with that. That doesn't really have to be a power of 2 or anything like that. I'm good with it. We're just eyeballing it for here. I'm going to click on the green check mark to say OK. Now let's move to the side view, or I guess it's the front view, depending on how you make it. I'm going back into vertex mode here, and then I'm simply going to click and drag over these vertices, go right clicking, go back to the move tool, and on the z-axis I'm just going to drop this down a bit. So I'm going to drop it down, and what I'm really looking at is, I don't care much about the handrail here. What I'm really looking at is this top this top vertex right there, which is going to make up the plane of our plank here. So I'm just making sure that that gets right about there. Then I'll click and drag over the next pieces and do the same thing. That looks pretty good. And the final two, remember this is low poly, so it's not going to match exactly. And it looks like I did get it every other one on there. So that turned out pretty good. And it's only 188 triangles, my collision mesh. So this is what the collision mesh looks like. I will turn off vertex mode. Let's give this a name. It's currently, now my bridge was called bridge 001. I have to check and see if it was underscore. Bridge underscore 001. Now what I have to do is with the collision model, we've got to name these the same thing, except we're going to call it capital UCX underscore and then give it the same name, bridge underscore 001. So what that UCX does is it makes it so that this collision model comes over at the same time. It's going to export and import at the same time that my bridge model does. So that's what it just connects them together there. So I now have my bridge model, and I also have my collision model that I made here. Everything looks good. Let's save. And then let's also export these two. So I'm going up to File, Export. They're the only two things I have in there, so I'm just going to leave them here. Now I already had a bridge exported, but that bridge did not have a collision model, so I'm going to re-export it, bridge 001, and save. So do you want to replace it? Yes, I do. And I'm going to leave all these the same. I check smoothing groups, so otherwise I'd get a warning telling me I didn't use smoothing groups, so I'm just going to leave that and say OK. Alright, so we're done here, and I'll minimize max. Let's get back into UDK. And as you can see, there's the bridge right there with no collision model. I'm going to replace that. So first of all, I'd like to take it and delete it. And if it doesn't delete, you can right click and you can actually force delete it right here. Force delete. And yes, I would like to force delete it and anything that's referenced to it as well. Alright, let's bring it back in. So I'm going to click on Import. Make sure you have your package selected that you want it selected for. So Import, let me see if maybe that's down here. Nope, close my static mesh editor. Nope, don't crash on me please. Alright, well, let's close the program and let's reopen for just a moment here. Let's see if we can reopen this quickly enough. Okay, we're back up and running. I paused it for just a moment while UDK took a couple seconds to open up. So I will close this. I'm going back into my terrain package, and now I'll import it. So I will just simply import, and there's my bridge 001, the new one. We'll say open, and everything else looks good here. And let's go down. Yeah, I'm all good there. So we don't have to do anything. Again, I don't have any materials on it. We're just doing this for the collision, and we'll just say OK. Apparently my terrain package is not fully loaded, so yes, I would like to fully load it. There it is. There's my new bridge. Now notice this time it does not say no collision model, so it must have a collision model on it. Let's go in and look at that collision model. So I just simply double click here my static mesh in the content browser. That brings up my static mesh editor. So I'm going to right click this, and then I will click turn on show collision. Alright, so here's the collision model for it, and that looks really good. It looks much better than the other collision model that was that we were trying to create procedurally there. So I kind of like it. Let's see how it works. So I'm going to close my static mesh editor, and I'm going to save my terrain package here. Right click save. That looks really good, and I'm going to pull this over. Let's drag this over into my scene. I'll close this. And just to test it, you know what I'd really like to do is create a span here so that I can have a span so that I can actually see how it works well. So I don't see my red builder brush, so let's hit the red builder brush here. And what I'm going to do is I'll just make a quick scene here. Here in my side viewport, what we'll do is let's maximize this, and I'm going to delete that one right there. Let's make a new one. So I'm going to choose additive. There it is. Let's pull this out of the way. Here's my additive brush. And then what we'll do is let's move it over just a little bit right there. And let's turn on geometry mode. I can pull this out of the way. Holding Control and Alt at the same time, I'm going to click and drag over that vertex. I'm going to pull it out just a little bit here, making that a ramp. That's good. I'm going to close my geometry mode. And with this selected, I'm going to move, let's see, first of all, let's move this into position so we know exactly how long to make it. I'm going to zoom in here, and wow, that looks really good. That little bit right there, I'm not even worried about it for now. That looks really good. I'm going to take this and duplicate it, so I'm going to click on the red axis, holding my Alt key, duplicates. And then I can either rotate this, or down here you see I have my draw scales. I have draw scale, and then I have X, Y, and Z. Now this is the X axis. What would happen if I just put a -1 here? -1. Look at that. It actually reversed it or mirrored it, so I didn't have to go in and rotate it 180 degrees. So I just put a -1 on the draw scale 3DX there, and that took care of it for me. That looks really good. Let's check a couple other viewports to make sure everything works here. And in my top viewport here, let's see if I've got everything lined up. This needs to come over, the bridge needs to come over to right to where these are. Alright, so that looks really good. Let's go into perspective viewport. Let's see what it looks like now. And I'm going to have to hit my build geometry button in order for it to show up here. That looks really good, except I've got a problem here. Let's see, one of these is it doesn't like, let's go into geometry mode here, brush wireframe. It does not like, because I did the -1 on it. That's not the -1. This is the -1 on the x-axis. That's kind of strange. It is showing up here. I'm not sure. Let's build geometry. It looks good in wireframe mode. What's going on with perspective here? So, I don't know. I'm going to play it and see what happens. I'm not sure what's going on there. So, let's right click. Play from here. You can't see that. Sorry, it's below the screen. It's not even looking like what the wire mesh is, so that's kind of strange. I'm going to have to rotate it. You know what? Let's go ahead and use it anyway. So I'm coming over here, and I'm going to come up the ramp, and let's see if we fall through or not. So notice I come down. All right, that looks pretty good. A little bit lower, so it's actually using the collision model right there. And then it falls off. So it's actually not using that outlined one right there. So it is using the one that's right there. So anyway, it works just fine. I'm going to have to change it apparently. So let's go into my top viewport. And it looks like this one with the -1. Oops, let's see if I can select it. This one, instead of -1, let's go back to regular, and then I'm just going to have to rotate it. Not sure why that didn't work, but I'll just rotate it 180 degrees. There it is. And let's move it into position. So tapping the space bar to get back to move, and then just put it right at the end right there. Zooming in. Looks really good. Let's go back into perspective viewport. Let's hit our build geometry button. That should have fixed it. Looks really good there. Let's play this now. So I'm going to right click, play from here, and whoops, you can't see that. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Alright, so now let's see if we can come up. Looks really good. There's my bridge. I'm going to stop in the middle of it. Can I? Oh, I'm trying to go off the side. I can't go off the side. That's good. So my collision model's working. Come over there. Can't get off the side. Wonder if I can jump over it. Can't even jump over it. So I'm going across the side. That looks good. I built it just the right size. And that's how to make a collision model in 3ds Max, a low poly collision model for a high poly object that's a little bit different. So thanks for joining me. My name is Brad. This is I Teach 3D.